Okay guys, we're back with part 4. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Just trying to show you some little basics on Tinkercad, because when I started out I was kind of overwhelmed and I'm still learning. Like I said, been 3D printing for about a year now. There's a huge community. I'm sure you'll find plenty of comments on these videos. People give me all kinds of insights and tips and tricks, and I'm sure there's people there yelling, why didn't you show this? Don't you know how to do that? And I assure you, I don't. I know some of it. I don't know all of it. Same goes with slicers. Same goes with 3D printing. It's a learning process. It's very easy to get overwhelmed. It's very hard to find time sometimes to dedicate to learning. I recommend that you go ahead and find one aspect, one particular aspect of printing, slicing, designing, whatever it is, and you learn about it. And then you move on, and then eventually you'll have a plethora of information that you can pull from your brain. Now, I appreciate all the help that everybody gives, but my purpose is just to show you some real basics, just because I was learning and I was kind of overwhelmed with this simple little, what I call now is a simpler program. But we've all been there at some point. We've all tried to learn how to do this stuff. But anyway, enough with that. Let's head over here to shapes. And there's all kinds of different categories you can choose from. There is a search feature up here where you can actually search for different things. There's different options across here. So if you were just looking for, like, say, letters and stuff like that, here's some ideas. There's always options for more shapes and stuff. And all these are just designed there to give you an idea, maybe give you that basic starting model that you don't have to make each one of these fingers from scratch and assemble this thing, but give you the ability to have something to start off with and then modify however you need it to be. And of course there's all kinds of different things you can choose from, and like I said, when you use the search feature, there's a huge community, there's all kinds of uploads, and it just gets wow. It can get pretty crazy. But anyway, we'll take a look at some of these. Vehicles and machines, so you already have a wheel, for example, already made for you. And these are just time savers, different things like that. Here's your basic little tree. And of course you can manipulate these however you need them to be. And you still have the ability to make them a whole if you need it to combine with something else or take a piece out of something else, whatever it may be. Well, let's go ahead and start talking about the export feature. So, I actually like this little house here. It kind of reminds me a little bit of something you might see on Sesame Street. Or at least the facade of it anyway. So I do like model railroading and scenery and stuff like that. And I look at this and the first thing I think of is, well, if I can nail the scale and print this, this might be something that could go on my layout. But anyway, if this is something I wanted to print, I'm just going to come over here and do export. First, just make sure that your item or items are selected. Hopefully you have them grouped together as one piece. We're just going to come over and we're going to hit export. In my case, I'm going to hit everything in the design. You have OBJ, STL, SVG as your exporting options. OBJ goes ahead and makes you a immediately printable file that you can throw straight in your 3D printer and print. STL gives you the option to throw it into a slicer, go ahead and tweak it and get all your settings the way you want it to be, to make it as nicely detailed or whatever you need it to end up looking like. SVG, laser cutting, as it says. Keep in mind you're dealing with 3D items and you're going to flip it to a 2D format, so yeah, it's going to get really weird for something like this, for example. Anyway, in my case, I'm just going to do the STL, and as you can see over here, it downloaded the file. I'm set up to automatically open up in Cura. Cura was my first slicer. Yes, I know there's a ton of them out there, and some people think others are better. I'm good with Cura. I like it. Use whatever one you need. So I'm just going to click on open the file. It's going to force the program open. And in my case here, I have it set up as a Cobra Viper, which is actually Anycubic Cobra running Viper settings, which actually I enjoy quite a bit. But your printer will be listed, and your options over here would probably be a little different than mine. My profiles are pretty straightforward. Defaults are set up for the Viper. Anyway, as you can see, this is a lot like Tinkercad for your slicer. Most of you guys already know about these and slicers. You still have all your axis, and you have the ability down here to change your views and stuff like that. We can go through all these settings and stuff, but I'm not going to do that in this series. I will drop one on Cura, just some of the really basic things I know about Cura, and trust me, I don't really know nothing about Cura, but I do know how to make a darn good lithophane. Show you real quick. I can select my object. I can also have move here, so I can move it however I need it to be when I print. Option over here is scale, so I can give it percentages, or I can get to actual numbers. I can snap scale it, make it uniform, whatever I need it to be. I can also rotate, so click that option. That gives me the ability to rotate, which comes in very handy if you're looking at supports and stuff and trying to eliminate as many as you can. Of course, you have the mirror option, which we can flip our little building around here however we need it to be. And then of course you have support blocker. Like I said, all that's going to come later in all the slicing stuff. But that was not my intention. My intention was just to teach you a little bit about Tinkercad. Some of the basics, like I said, a lot of people know a lot of things about it, and I'm sure they'll blow my mind. I'm sure I'll have people showing me all kinds of stuff, telling me all kinds of things to try out, but I just wanted to give you the basics. If you're starting out in 3D printing, I have a few people that I know that are starting with printers, and they're wanting to know about 3D modeling and not necessarily just downloading things from Thingiverse or whatever site and printing those out, but actually want to modify it, or they want to create their own images from scratch, their files from scratch. And of course, I found out that my son actually uses Tinkercad in school, which I thought was awesome, and we've been bouncing ideas back and forth off of each other, so it's become a very good learning tool for both of us. But anyway, I appreciate you guys if you hung in there for the whole little series. But look forward to more videos. I appreciate it if you just give me a like, subscribe if you want, follow, whatever they call it. I'm not going to hound y'all with that stuff. But I'll see y'all in the next series. Appreciate it.